Batboy is awesome, and y'all been sleeping on it, haven't you? Batboy is a throwback to classic 8-bit platform games, and it's often compared to Mega Man and Shovel Knight. In my opinion, it takes the best aspects of both of those games and makes something new and creative and very charming and fun. You play as the titular Batboy, whose real name is Ryosuke. By day, he's a baseball-loving student. He has a big old group of friends that all are into their own various sports. And by night, they put on costumes and become sports-themed superheroes. One day, Batboy's friends are all kidnapped and brainwashed by the evil Lord Vicious. It's up to Batboy to track them down, knock some sense into them, and rescue them. The game mechanics start out fairly simple. You run around, you jump, and you swing your bat at things, either to hit enemies or deflect projectiles back at them. But as you go, you learn many more skills that make the game much more interesting. The first thing you learn is how to throw your bat, letting it suspend in the air for a few moments before coming back to you like a boomerang. This lets you use the bat as an extra platform to jump on while it's in the air, or you can use it as a trap and hit oncoming enemies with it. After each stage, you'll learn a new ability as well. As your brainwashed friends serve as the bosses in almost every level, they'll all teach you something after you beat them. You'll eventually be able to jump off walls, dash through the air, create a bubble shield, do a ground stomp, and so many other things that not only make the game more fun, but it really gives you a lot more flexibility in how you approach each of the environments. It's a pretty short game that can be completed in a few hours or so, although me, being the idiot that I am, it actually took me upwards of 5 hours to finish my first playthrough because I didn't know how to upgrade my health and stamina. I went through the whole game with only the initial 3 hits, and by the time I got to the final stage I was like, alright, I gotta do something about this. I cannot progress anymore. So I went back, and yes, you actually do collect items throughout each stage, and you can also purchase some items that will give you permanent health and stamina increases. So with my health more than doubled, I was able to go back and finish the final level. And even with 7 hit points and like 5 stamina points, the final boss still gave me a good challenge. I think the game also has a lot of replayability because there are achievements to unlock, bonus challenge stages to complete, items to look for and collect. And if you want to go through all that, then yeah, there's plenty to do even post-game. There's also a speedrun mode, which takes out all the dialogue and just lets you try and run through the game as quick as you can. But I do recommend reading the story, reading the dialogue the first time around, because it is actually a lot of fun. It's well written. There's a lot of very funny lines in there. I was actually laughing out loud a few times. There's some surprising references thrown in there. And just an overall fun story. It feels like a story that would have been in a retro game. It's very much full of heart. The characters are all very cool, and I would love to see more of them. I really hope this game does well and gets a sequel because they've really done something cool here. The character designs and the concept art is what initially drew my attention to this game. I saw it on Kickstarter last year, and unfortunately I didn't get a chance to back it. I kind of missed out on that. However, the game's out now and I was sure to pick it up right away. The character designs and this world they've built is just so cool and so charming, which brings me to the graphics. I mean, this is a great looking game. It looks like an 8-bit game, but of course, with modern technology, they're not limited in the same ways that the NES would have been, so this actually looks better than a game that would have come out back in the 80s, for sure, even though it retains that style. I can say the same for the sound. It's got a catchy soundtrack, lots of kind of chip tunes, but it goes beyond the chip tunes a little bit too. You definitely hear those instruments that are a little bit higher quality than something we really would have heard in a retro game. Overall, the production value is really good here. I love it. I felt right at home in this game. From the gameplay to the story and the visuals and everything, it harkens back to those times and those games that I grew up with. But it's more forgiving. You know, it's not so brutal as a game from that era would have been. There are plenty of checkpoints in here. You can die as much as you want and try again without being punished, without being sent back to the beginning of the level or the beginning of the game. Now there's tons of checkpoints, and each checkpoint also refills your health and stamina every time you come across them, so very forgiving. It encourages trial and error, and it encourages that perseverance to keep going on. The level designs are all very interesting and unique in their own way. You've got all the standard tropes. You've got your forest level, your snow level, your water level. You even have an airship level that made me feel like I was playing Mario 3, and a haunted castle that kind of made me feel like I was playing Castlevania. Lots of cool stuff here. Honestly, this is my type of game, 100%. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you like old school platform games, definitely give this a go. And if you don't want to take my word for it, go download the demo. You can play the demo for free and decide for yourself if you want to spend the already budget price of $14.99 on this game. For me, it was money well spent. I think that's all I've got to say about Batboy. I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. If you like retro platform games at all, if you like games like Shovel Knight, then I think you'll be right at home here. Definitely check it out. Thanks for watching today. Let me know your thoughts on Batboy. Have you played it? Are you going to? Have a good one. I will see you next time.